Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mad liberTEA Party, where up is down, left is right, uh, something something, the rules don't matter because we're all mad here. Wait, I said the whole thing and added something something into it. As you can see, this is a bit impromptu. Um, I didn't have a plan for doing a mic drop today. I was gonna do a morning show, but I'm still pretty sick, so I ended up having to sit this out this morning. And as much as that fucking kills me, it's true that you need to take care of yourself so you can keep on going and stuff like that. And here I go saying the F word right at the very beginning. We are never getting monetized here, just in case anybody wondered. So if you want to help us out, please hit that like button, please share, please hit up our link tree, hit up our subscribe star. We would really like to be able to do more of what we do and help people out as we do it. Because I can't stop saying the F word and they're never going to give us any money. Hey, Deco. Nice to see you in here. So as I said before, this is kind of impromptu, and what I was wanting to talk about is something that's been kind of bugging me a little bit lately. It's something that's been talked about a lot out there, and especially since we're posting all these flyers for like a rally where we bring everybody together and we have we the people and there's unity and everything like that. Well, the thing is, a lot of people seem to be confusing like the idea of unity and alliance. And a lot of people are throwing around alliance terms and stuff like that. Um, online and out there in the social medias and shit. And so I thought I would just kind of like talk about unity a little bit and what it means to me and what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. Because to be honest, I am an anarchist and I typically don't trust groups unless I've put the group together and can make sure that it's going to be, everybody's going to have a hand in it. Everybody's going to get a say. Everything's going to be simpatico and everybody can, like everybody can come to the table. That's one of the reasons why you won't see me out there joining a lot of groups or anything like that. Um, and groups and movements are completely different things. You'll have to excuse me. The cats want to come outside with me and they're attacking the windows behind me because they're vicious monsters. Um, you'll see me like talking about movements like the Liberty movement or the Boogaloo movement or, you know, um, a unity amongst anarchist bottom unity movement type things. Those are not groups. They are not organized. They're not things that there's a leader of, that there's a council that sits down and, like throws votes and stuff like that. It's not like the Libertarian Party or a club or even like a church or a neighborhood organization. And like they're very open, and I find that I like those more because I can choose what I do. Nobody's telling me what to do, what not to do, other things like that, because I don't really respond well to that. When people tell me don't do this or don't do that, I really, I typically I'm like, okay dude, whatever. um and it's not because I'm just like naturally angry, which, believe it or not, I kind of am. And it's not because like I'm just stubborn or anything like that. I'll take advice, but I'm never going to just do what somebody told me to do just because they told me to do it. And I think that that's the difference between most voluntary movements and groups and, like the ones that are not. Honestly, in my personal opinion, if you get your ass into a place and there's a lot of do this, don't do that, and there's separation between the people who are running things and the people who are doing things, get the fuck out. It's not good for you. If you need somebody to do that, then go right the fuck ahead. But if you're like advanced along the road of individual thought and um lifestyle, don't do it. Just, but that doesn't mean you can't fucking help, tell people that you're here for them. Tell, like, put your hand in, put your advice in, keep working with people, but don't sign on to anything ever. Like, to be honest, I just don't suggest it. I am constant, but Mike, you're always asking people to join your group. Well, yeah, I am, but my group's a little bit different. It's not my way or the highway. And there was a time period there when one of the, like when it was kind of like that because of, like my partner was kind of an ass. I'm not gonna fucking mince it. Um, but he didn't really see eye to eye with me on how the group was to be run, and to be honest, it caused the group to suffer because our group is made of highly individualized people who like to do their own thing, and they like to pick and choose what they get involved in. Trying to organize this kind of thing is like herding cats with a blow dryer. In fact, I've got an image that I want to put up once I finish with it, which is like a bunch of anarcho cat balls trying to be herded. And I think it's gonna be really cute. I'm gonna make some stickers out of it, or maybe a t-shirt or something, because it's kind of an ongoing joke that it is. It's like herding, it's hard. It's hard to deal with. You have to be very fucking patient because, if we have to come together. I don't believe in voting. Like, I'll totally poll some shit to see what everybody's opinions are on things, but that does not mean that the poll is going to decide what happens. Um, what decides what happens is we all get together and there's a collective of us, or a collection of us. I wouldn't call it a collective at all. Um, sorry, that was a slip of the tongue. There's a collection of us. We get together, we discuss what we want, we discuss what we do. Yes, the liver kitties are in the back and they're causing shit. Mm. But if somebody has a problem with it, we sit there and discuss it and we'll take that into consideration. We may change the direction of what we want to do, There's no real need to like do a voting process. I hate voting. Voting, in my opinion, is force. It always, unless it's completely unanimous, that voting process is going to leave somebody out there without the capacity to do the things that they wanted, or they're going to be doing something that they didn't want to do. And that, in my opinion, is like, like it's using a force of numbers over somebody. And I don't like that. If you do find yourself to be the only person in a group that doesn't want to do something, though, it might be best to sit that one out, or to even, like start looking for a new place to go, because like, like if it happens regularly, because it means you're not in key with the group that you're with. Um, when you decide to make a group or join a group, you are aligning yourself with them, and like what they do and what you do will come back and play out in the public eye on that group and on yourself. And so you have to be very careful about who you decide to ally yourself with in as an individual. It really kind of sucks because like but that's just how it is. And if that it's going to start putting a message out that you didn't want to put out, you've got to you've got to mind your messages. You don't want to be putting out the wrong idea if that's not what you meant. You want to be clear about what you mean. I'm knocking over all my water and everything. Good Lord. Um, you want to be clear about what you mean. And by that, I mean, you don't want anybody to have to wonder about what you think about something. Open your fucking mouth. You don't necessarily have to leave a group just because you don't like it. You can be outspoken. You can be like, yeah, I'm here helping my buddies, but I think this is kind of dumb. And and here's why. Like, if you just go, this is dumb and I'm still here, nobody's going to understand what's going on. You have to be like, and the reason why I think this is dumb is blah 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 blah, and what I would rather have done is blah 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 blah. Like, don't just leave people hanging there. You can't assume that people know what you're talking about, because I don't know, have you guys been out there on social media and seen the assumptions people make? They are so fucking ridiculous. Like, it's not an assumption anymore, it's a projection. And so you have to be very careful about that. You have to make sure that everything is laid out. And I mean, to be honest, there are a lot of non-voluntary groups to go out there. Like, they'll say that they're voluntary, but when you get there, there's gonna be a hierarchy. There's gonna be something that you don't agree with. There's gonna be people you don't fucking like. And the truth is, like, you don't fucking have to like everybody that you work with. But I think that you should have to, have kind of an idea, share an idea with the people that you work with. You can't be happy doing it otherwise. Like me working with a bunch of statists, I'm not gonna be fucking happy, and I'm not gonna be fucking quiet, and they're not gonna be fucking happy because I'm not gonna be fucking quiet. Um, it's just not fair to anybody involved, if you ask me. And I realize this is kind of something of a ramble about, like, and stuff like that. I'm just kind of letting my mind go about the various things that I think about during the day. And since I've been sick, it's kind of windy and shit like that. But so please forgive me again if this gets really rambly or anything. But the truth is, like, we have we have a lot of misunderstandings of what a group is. A group can be literally anything. A group or a community can be literally anything. It can be anything from a family to a homestead to, like a book club. It could be a group of people that decide to clean the street with each other every other week. It could be anything of that sort. And the truth is, it's a natural occurrence within humanity. We're social creatures, and not a single one of us can do everything ourselves. It's not plausible unless all you want to do is something that affects like a very small area or a very small thing. Excuse me, media cat. Could you hush? I'm trying to talk here. He's behind me. Y'all can't see him, but he's just nagging the hell out of me. I don't know what he wants. As I said, like, this is his problem. He joined this group and decided and now it's my way or the highway. Get the hell out. No, I'm just kidding. No, I try to negotiate with them as best I can too. Even animals have wants. They have wants, and it's not just needs. But we'll save that one for another ramble because, like, I got some wild ideas about animals, I'm sure. Um, I had to take a drag there. Anyways, so back on the group thing. They occur naturally everywhere. People are going to do them, whether or not you're in an anarchist society or not. There's still going to be groups. People like to come together. We're social creatures. We like to do big things. We have big dreams. We have big ideas, and we can't carry them on our own. We have to have help. And the problem with it highly individualized beings is that we're all going to have our own mind about something. We're all going to have our own ideas about something. Also, it's a little windy out here. Y'all let me know if that's affecting the sound too much, by the way. I'm sorry if it is. I tried to pick a place out of the maelstrom. But anyways, like, you you're never all going to agree. If you can find a common ground and work from there, things will be okay though. Like, if everybody can just chill, uh, expecting everybody to have the same idea as you, expecting anybody to have exactly the same idea as you is kind of a collectivist thought. It's old think, it's state think. We're not going to it's not going to happen. You're always going to disagree with somebody about something, and that's okay. In fact, it creates different ideas. It creates different approaches. It creates different vistas. Like last night I was talking to a dude on MeWe, and he was angry about the people who were being mistreated by the police, and he was talking about how he was tired of how he doesn't feel sympathy for them. And like, he's a real shake 'em up, go, like, raw, wake up motherfuckers kind of dude. And I myself, like, I give this story about the bobcats and the mountain lions trying to let him out of the cage, and how they're going out of the trap, and how they're going to maul the shit out of you until they realize what you've done for them, and then they leave you alone. They go off on their own way, and like sometimes they even look a little thankful. um and that I choose the patience route as much as I can. Because let's be real, there are some days when people get the better of me and I get incredibly frustrated with them. But I do try to take like the patient route with the patient hand. And we both, like we both disagree on the way that we handled it, but we both were able to have a really interesting conversation about it that I liked. And I think that it's still ongoing, I hope. I don't think it's over yet. And dude, if you're watching this, I hope I didn't put you on the spot, but it really made me think about, like how people who are very different can come together, and we're on the same path. We're fighting the same fight. We're trying to wake people up. We're trying to get them to take control of their own minds and their own lives. And we come at it from different angles. We have different histories. We have different views into this fight, into this world. Um, we have different ideas on how to bring people to liberty. And the truth is that my patient hand is not always going to help. Sometimes people are going to need that wake up motherfucker dude to come in, and it's great to know that there are so many of us out there, and we're not going to just discount each other and like block each other on the internet and stuff like that because we have different ideas about what's going on out there and how to handle this stuff. We can still walk side by side and share our experiences and our ideas, and we can grow from those things. Like, I'll take advice from people who do things different than me, and I think other people should too. Um, and it's that's just how it goes. Um, I've been by myself as an individual. I've been in groups as an individual. I like to make groups. I'm gonna be honest, I don't trust other people to make groups very much. Because I've seen far too many people mishandle that shit. And I know that if I make it, that it won't be mishandled. Um, on the other hand, when I do make it, sometimes it's a little too loose for people. Like it took like 6 to 8 months for people to really understand how to handle the community that I had built on Discord alone. Because like they are used to moderators, they're used to people stepping in and making everything better again, um, quote unquote. But the truth is, like, you don't learn from that. You need to learn how to do that yourself is one of my ideas. And so, like, when people would come to me with a problem about somebody, I'd be like, well, have you talked to them about it? And they'd be like, well, no, I'm angry and all this other stuff. And I'd be like, well, try talking to them about it. And if that doesn't work and they're just going to be twat waffles about it, then you block them, and you don't have to worry about it anymore, or just ignore them. I mean, you don't have to block them. You could just ignore them like an adult. And once they realize that you're not going to rile to them, they get bored and move on to somebody else. And yeah, that does kind of put it on the community because, like, before you know it, you've got like 3 or 4 people coming up being like, this dude is such an asshole. Can you do something about it? And I'd be like, well, have you tried talking to him about it? And I give everybody the same thing. And, like they'll get frustrated with me and be like, well, you're the admin. Aren't you supposed to like protect this community and make sure that it's a place for everybody to be? And yeah, like there are moments when I will step in. Like there was a moment when someone was harassing the ladies in our group, and it was starting to make them very uncomfortable, and I was about to have to choose between having them in our all of them in our community or having that person. And yeah, I'll kick the shit out of them. I don't usually ban people, but I will kick them. I'll tell them why they're being kicked too. And like that's that. Like I'm not going to let you come into my house and shit all over it and chase people out, but I would prefer the people be able to do it themselves. And like in hindsight, they started to get it because when the whole community ended up actually ignoring this person, um, or like making it very clear that they didn't care about what they had to do with like all the negative stuff they were doing or whatever, they would eventually leave. Like, either that or the whole community had them on block, so it wasn't something that was getting brought up by anybody, and nobody even remembered they were there. And it no longer affected them. Everybody has the right. That's the thing that I try to push on people. Everybody has the right to choose who they associate with and who they disassociate with. And it's not in that way, it's not like, oh, the community got together, voted, and then like excommunicated the dude. It was every individual made the decision themselves, and the response to that was that basically in the end almost the whole community had nothing to do with the person because like you know, in the end, if you're a fucking asshole, no one wants to hang out with you, and it will come around. Even if there isn't somebody there to tell them that they have to do it, they'll start doing it on their own if there's nobody there to do it. And I think that that's a big problem in our society today, because like they've taught us that we don't need to work this shit out. We need to go to a higher authority to deal with it when there's a problem. And it's made us weak. It's made us incapable of working things out. It's made us incapable of handling our own problems, you know. And so, like, I mean, groups with leaders and hierarchies, they do nothing but make people weak. And they feed off of some and feed into others, and it's gonna be uneven. It's gonna be that way. And I hope that those of you who are out here watching that do have groups and stuff like that don't think that this is like a negative shot at y'all. If it works for you, it works for you. And if you know, I'm all cool with that. But this is my personal advice and what I do and what I tell people. So if you don't like it, get on your own YouTube show or hit me up in the comments and let me know what's going on. And hell, I'll bring you on and we'll have a talk about groups, you know? We can share our opinions and our vistas and take at it from multiple angles and stuff, and see if we can't both learn something or teach some people some shit, you know? Who knows? But the truth is, like, I'm not a big grouper. I'm not a big get into the bandwagon and fly off with everybody together kind of thing, which is strange because, like, you know, I'm always like, everybody's here, everybody's welcome, everybody get in the fucking van delivery in the train to liberty, you know. um and that's another thing, the train to liberty. I have a friend who brought this to me a while back, and I am ever thankful of him. Thank you, Jay, you're so awesome. But like he pointed out this kind of like little story about how we're all on the train to liberty in this. Everybody gets on the train at the same place and the train takes off. And we're going to have, you know, the left and right minarchists are going to get off at a certain point, and the rest of us are going to keep going. And well, I mean, like, well, first off, we'll have like the liberals and the classic liberals and stuff like that. They'll get off at a certain point, and then once we come along, then the more minarchists will come along, and they'll be like, well, this is our stop, and they'll all get off, and you'll have like the more hardcore libertarians and stuff like that riding on a little bit longer, and they'll get off where they feel comfortable. And us anarchists, you know, we're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. We'll drive that motherfucker right into the ravine. But hopefully we'll be able to get out first. Everybody got your parachutes on? But I think that that's a really good example of how people with all these differing ideas, you know, like we get on the same liberty train together and we have to drive it forward. As it is, you know, some people believe that we haven't even fucking gotten it out of the station yet. I don't think that's true. I think we're chugging along just fine, but I do believe that it's going to be quite some time before anybody reaches a station that they're comfortable with. Even those like dim socks and stuff, you know, like they're all still on there, and like, sure, we're not going to always agree with the people who are getting off and where they're getting off at, because we all have our own ideas of which station we want to stop at, or those of us who don't want to stop at a station at all. No, this isn't a crack pipe. It's a chillums. They're really cool. They're kind of like one hitters, except for they're like half a bolt. Anyways, like, and so basically my point of this story is that we can have vastly different ideas together working on the same things, and we don't have to agree with each other. We don't have to decide we're all getting off at the same station. We just gotta fucking push forward and drive the train until we get there. And I mean, at this point, even like the statists, like even most of the statists out there do not like what's going on. They do not feel comfortable in this situation. I'm going to talk from the American point of view here. We're Americans and we value a certain level of freedom, even if we are statist as fuck, even if some of us are statist as fuck. And they're even getting on this train because, I mean, they're on the train still too. We're not even close to where they would feel comfortable anymore. And I don't even think that they all even realize they're on the train. Um, and so, like, like while we're on this train together, we might as well sit down in the cafe car and talk about shit and find out what's going on. Like, and we're all gonna have to come together in the engineering room, and we're gonna have to take turns shoveling coal and shit like that to get us where we need to be. And the more hands, the better. Um, do I agree with them? No. Hell, they drive me fucking nuts sometimes. Like, I can't fucking stand it. And the levels of hypocrisy that are in the hands of statists, even the minarchists. I love you guys, but I can't just sit here and say that I don't find hypocrisy in what you guys do too. You're always talking about how government will corrupt eventually, but you still want one. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm not gonna freaking run you off. Um, that being said, I want to get into what I won't do. I've gone 25 minutes about what we will do, what we could do, how we could do it. I'm going to talk about what I won't do. There are certain people that I would never get on the train with. There are certain people that I would kick right the fuck off the train. And it's a very hard line. Um, I don't have any fucking patience for hard statists that don't want liberties of any sort. People who want to take other people's liberties away to make themselves feel comfortable. Um, Communists and fascists of all sorts need not fucking apply with me. We can talk, and I respect your rights to speak. Because if I didn't respect everybody's rights, then I would be a hypocrite myself. That's their problem. That's their way of doing things. Rules for me, but not for thee. I mean, rules for thee, but not for me kind of shit. Like they're okay with putting restrictions on people so long as they can get what they want out of it. And they feel like that's the right thing to do. And I don't fucking understand why. And I'm not gonna deal with it. Now, coming together to say that we're unhappy like we're trying to do on the 17th to try and tell people, like educate people, get people together, make connections before it's too fucking late. I'm totally okay with that. Like I'll sit down at a table and talk to almost anyone. The only people I have ever gotten up from the table from before was, you know, I will not work with a Nazi. I will not work with like a hard racist KKK kind of person. I will not work with an actual communist, like a real one, not ANCOMs. I will totally work with ANCOMs if they're actually ANCOMs, but you have to be into like people being voluntary. You can't be out there talking about forcing shit on people or taking shit from somebody and giving it to other people. I mean, unless you're talking about the government or like the corporativist oligarchy, I'm totally okay with bringing that shit down because it's gonna have to come down before we have any change. But like, if you're actually trying to take things away from the individuals and give them to others or anything like that, um, I don't think you're an anarchist. I think that you might want to be, but you're not. You're confused. And I'm not saying that I don't believe that ANCOMs are anarchists because that's bullshit. I'm gonna get into that just a little bit because, like, well, no, I'm not. That's gonna be a whole fucking episode. We're gonna talk about that later again because it doesn't seem to be like getting into people's heads that there are different flavors of anarchy and we can all come together in the name of liberties and in the name of freedom and shit like that. In the name of anarchy, we can set aside our fucking adjectives and get some shit done. We don't have to be fighting it out because like they're gonna come right up our fucking six. As I like to say, we're never gonna get all these arbitrary things that we argue about and use to say that you're not a real libertarian, you're not a real anarchist, you're not a real blah 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 because you don't believe the same thing as me on this arbitrary little adjective that I carry the fuck around and can't seem to get past. Um, it's while we're doing all of that, they're taking away what's left of our liberties and all of these arbitrary things that we're arguing about. They will never come to be because we will never have a chance to see them come to be. Like, we're in danger of that consistently. And the idea that we all have to be the same in order to work together is ridiculous. Another thing that I won't do, I won't join an involuntary commune. A voluntary commune is where people come together and they work together and they figure out their own systems and they can opt in and opt out as they please. That kind of thing, I'm totally cool with. Those things can become corrupted very fucking easily though. And so it is up to the individuals within the collection of people to make sure that that doesn't happen, because it's never going to, like my dad always said, you're never going to end the battle for liberty. Liberty will always have to be fought for consistently, otherwise someone will take it. There's always going to be a mofo out there looking to piss up the goddamn pool, and we've got to make sure nobody is making the little green rings around themselves. We got to get that. We got to No, not in the pool. Not in the pool. Get the hell out the fucking pool. There's some perfectly good grass over there. Go piss in that. Um, we have to be constant vigilance, like Mad Eye Moody says. And I probably pissed off half of the people out there because I think J.K. Rowling's in trouble or some shit like that. I don't pay attention to what she says anymore because she basically ruined the story after how do you come back and ruin a story after you fucking wrote it? Anyways, I'm not gonna get off on some fucking tangent about J.K. Rowling. Anyways, the truth is that like we're gonna always have to be on top of that shit. And like I had a discussion with one of my friends not too long ago about communes and how they can't be voluntary and shit like that. Damn straight they can, motherfucker. Just because I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you a motherfucker. I That's just how I talk. The truth is that no, it's not easy. Like there might be a point in which you've put your whole life in, like put years of life into like a commune, and then stuff starts going a way that you don't want it to go. And you may be the only one that sees that. Like you can try all you want to wake people up and change things and try and fix things, but if it doesn't work, you have to go. You have to go. And it's not easy and it's not going to be simple. You're going to have to make sacrifices. We will always have to make sacrifices for liberty at one point or another. And your choice is to stay there and put up with it, or to leave and go with your dangerous liberty out there where you have to start all over again. Nothing is stopping you, and no one is stopping you. Yes, there are consequences. Yes, you will have loss. But I think that almost everybody I hang out with or watches this show who's not like brand new to this sort of thing, we know that. We're okay with that. We know that there's going to be sacrifices and that we're going to have to give up things in order to live free. Otherwise, there will always be something somebody can hang over your head. And that's your choice to let them do that. And is it bullshit? Does it suck? Yeah, it does. It sucks that people will do that. But, your vigilance and your willingness to sacrifice for liberty, that's your thing. So, I mean, like, on the other hand, personally, I don't like to build on shit that I don't own. And the way the country is now, there is no way to build on something that you actually own. I posted up a video by Dan Berman all over social media last night where he was talking about this very thing and the housing industries and stuff like that. And I implore you guys to check that out because it was a good talk. But like, don't have some foresight. Like if you're thinking that this might not like work out, make sure you have some backups or don't do it at all. Like for some people, these communes are great. Fuck, I've lived in communes before and they didn't go bad. Like eventually they did disband, but it wasn't in a bad way. We all just started going our own ways to do different things. Um, and it was definitely formed in a voluntary fashion. It was kind of formed overnight, like it just happened. And then, like everybody did what they needed to do to keep everybody good and safe and happy and eating. And then when we were all on our feet and we all had the ability to from there go forth, that's what we did. We went forth. I don't think these things were ever meant to be permanent. Um, because the longer you stay in something like that, the more rigid it becomes. But if that's what you want, then go for it. It's just not my thing. Anyways, I've rambled on for about 35 minutes about this stuff, and I'm not really sure where else to go with it aside from, like we don't have to. Oh, I do want to say one more thing. Let me get this out. Just because like it's okay to agree with and work, I mean, to agree to work with people that you don't always agree with, but don't fucking change yourself to fit their fucking, to fit their fucking paradigm. You don't have to do that. And if somebody thinks you have to, then I mean, don't work with someone like that. That's a controlling sort of thing, and it's not healthy. It's really, really unhealthy. Um, but don't be that motherfucker either. Like, don't be that guy who's like, or lady or non-binary guy, gal, or non-binary pal out there that's gonna be like, you have to agree with everything, or I can't fucking work with you, because that makes you the bad guy. That makes you the controlling motherfucker, and it can be very frustrating, and it can be very patience draining to be the one that always has to find the common ground and work around it with people. But you know, deal with it. Somebody's got to fucking do it. And if you're not willing to do it, who the fuck is going to? Just make sure that you police yourself as much as you police the other people. Well, I hate using that fucking word, but I mean, like, guard yourself, guard the people, guard everybody's liberties, because ask fucking questions. Like, if you find yourself in a group where people aren't allowed to ask questions, get the fuck out. Well, either that or ask questions even harder and then get kicked out, because like usually that's what's going to happen. But still, I mean, don't sacrifice yourself, parts of yourself, just to make some stuff work. But you can find and work from a common ground. It doesn't have to be 100% and 100%. It's never going to be 100% agreement with anybody. That's why, like, like people will draw together in couples and stuff like that, and they say opposites attract and shit. It's useful. It's useful to work with people that are not exactly the same as you. Just make sure that your fundamentals aren't going to be like compromised by doing so. I say all this, be unified and everything like that, and that's great. That's working together. That's coming together to find something to do, to be able to do something that serves everybody. But yeah, like I said, don't compromise yourself just for the idea of an alliance with another person or another group or anything of that nature. Um, and yeah, I think that's about it for now. I think I'll leave it on this. This evening we have a show, our Spilling the liberTEA, where we all come together and we bring our different ideas that we don't always agree on to the table, and we talk about them, and we talk about current events and news and stuff like that. And oftentimes it gets down to just me, I3, and Creep in the evening. At the very end of it, we have some really interesting conversations. I don't know if you guys have ever seen an ANCOM and ANCAP and a Black Flag sit at the table together and just work through things, like kill the semantics, take them apart, remove all of these statist concepts from it, and think about how we could actually do these things without it. um you'd be surprised at how often we end up being able to not always 100% agree, but actually come to an understanding and an agreement. And so I implore you guys to come check that out. Last night we had, not last night, night before last, we had some people on, and I'm gonna probably end up putting that on the end screen once this processes and everything like that. But I urge you guys to get in there and look at our episode about January the 17th and see what's coming up. Speaking of people of all different ideas and thought processes coming together in unity to work for something that's a common ground, a common goal. Get in there and check that out. Normally I have morning shows every morning. I'm really sick right now, and I mean, I don't know if I look sick or not. I can't actually tell because I'm wearing these shades, but like, I was pretty pale this morning. So like, it's gonna be spotty with the morning show until I'm feeling better. Some mornings I'm gonna have to keep resting. Otherwise I'm never gonna get the fuck up. This thing can take like a month almost, and That's what I've been told, up to a month to get better. And so like I'm trying not to push myself too hard because I don't want to freaking miss out on January, you know? Also coming up is my birthday on the 27th, and I'm hoping that we can get together and maybe like stream a movie and chill, have a discussion about it. Last year we watched V for Vendetta, and I was like, and I'm totally amused because like last year we watched the people we watched a video about people you know like fighting back and rising up and things on fire and shit, and this year it's basically like that in reality, so we might watch something way chiller, like maybe we'll watch Idiocracy. I haven't seen that in forever, so like if you guys want to come watch Idiocracy with us, I think that would be fun. That's what we're gonna do. Anyways, if y'all like this, if you hate this, get down in the comments and you know like send me a nasty letter about how stupid I am or start a conversation. And you know like if you have anything to add on to it, if you have shared experiences, thought processes, please get up in our social media or down in the comments wherever you are, and add that in there. Like share that stuff. Um if I think that it's a really interesting prospect, I'll reach out to you. We can talk about it even on the show, maybe even. Um, on the other hand, like if you guys want to help out more, we are looking for team members consistently. So like if you have the ability to live stream out there on the streets and help us document what's going on right now, the revolution will not be televised, but if we do it properly, it could be live streamed. So hit us up and we'll see if we can't get you on the platform working with us. If you have big ideas and wild thought processes and you want to share them with us and you want to bring them to the table with us, get in here. If you just like organizing shit, because we could really use a mad liberty secretary, get your butt over here and apply for that, because like I need some help organizing. I'm the only person here that's like super obsessed with organization as far as I understand. So like maybe I could use just a little bit of help with that before my my obsessive compulsive behavior gets the better of me and drives me completely insane. Um, if you guys don't have time but you got money, throw that in the subscribe star with your, if it's your filthy white market money. You can sub, or you can actually just give one time donations. Either of those are really helpful. And get down into our coin tree if you're woke and you got some of that crypto you want to spread over here. Likewise, you know, I mean, and we'll use that stuff. Like we've already been covering our bills, so we don't have to pay for any of that stuff anymore. On top, so I'm not having to put money into that. I'm putting money in every month myself, into the coffers to try and keep them up, and we're rebuilding and everything like that. But this has been a rough month for Liberty, y'all, and we've been giving out as much as we can to help people just do the things that they need to do, liberty wise and everything. So if you guys like that and you think that's cool, help us continue to do that, you know. Get in there any way that you can. Hell, if you're a local and you don't want your name written on anything, um, hit me up. I'll come meet with you. We'll have a cup of coffee and you can slide it in my pocket like a drug deal. I don't fucking care. You wouldn't be the only one. I got several people who just drop me cash all the time towards the liberty movement. Or they donate objects. Like I love objects. I don't want to ask people to pay for shipping to donate objects to us, but like if you feel like it, send cool shit. We will put it into, like, we're gonna be working on a putting together a care packages for the homeless in February. If you guys want to send stuff for that, go right ahead. Hit me up and I'll talk to you about it and I'll tell you where to send it. Because like if you send it to me out here, it will never get here. Most of the mailmen get lost trying to fucking find the place. Mm. That being said, guys, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I got shit to do. I gotta prep for the Spilling liberty episode today, and I got a bunch of people to talk to. I got some people to go meet. So until then, and I hope to see you tonight. Until then, you guys be safe and you guys stay free. And no matter what you do, don't sacrifice the former for the latter. I mean, don't sacrifice the latter for the former. For God's sake, never sacrifice your liberty for comfort. Never sacrifice your liberty for safety. It's gotten too long. We've been making way too many lines in the sand. There's like 50 or 60 of them, like a whole fucking line of lines in the sand. If we put down fucking bars on top of it and threw some stuff down the sides, we could have a fucking train track to run that goddamn Liberty train on. Anyways, you guys stay safe. Like I said, don't fucking sacrifice for the safety though. Be bold. See you guys later. This episode of Mic Drops